Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get to the most important stuff, and then we're going to kind of work our way backwards to the least important stuff. And, let's start with Alexis and Sam. So, Sam pretty much comes over, Alexis' place, and just confronts her about her drinking. At this point, Alexis is not even trying to hide it. Hell, I think she Ubered Eats a drink to be delivered to her house. And so at this point, it's just, it is what it is with Alexis. She's not trying to hide it anymore. And her and Sam just start arguing back and forth. And, here lies the problem. This isn't on Sam's part necessarily because, she's in the moment. Here's the thing about somebody who has an addiction. It doesn't matter what you say, if you try to yell at them or whatever. They're not going to listen until they're ready to listen. And that was the thing that was apparent throughout the whole hour that I was spent there watching this episode, is that she's not going to listen until she's ready to listen. And all of the yelling and judgmentalness and everything just was not getting through. And it got to a point where Alexa started became very combative towards Sam. And I give Sam her props because she didn't back down. 1 second. I don't know, I didn't like that song. But yeah, I give Sam her props because she didn't back down. And, she was like, alright, now listen, this isn't really going anywhere. I'll be back tomorrow. And that's what happened. And, because at this point, Alexis pretty much like, listen, you can either stay and have a drink with me, or you can get the hell out. Literally. And that's what wound up happening. She just left. And so yeah, it was a good scene. It was also, you can kind of look at it like it's a PSA, a little bit, but yeah. So let's see, what else is going on? Let's talk about Brooklyn and Ned and Brooklyn, Ned, Monica, and Olivia. So yeah, we leave off with Friday's episode of Brooklyn finding out that Ned cheated on Olivia with Alexis. Olivia comes from the back, and Olivia's like, "What's going on? Why are you spying for her? What's up?" And so both of them comes in there, and Olivia's like, "So, what was everyone talking about?" And, it's just one of those things where it's like, you can tell Ned is just like sweating bullets. Like, I can feel it from the TV. So, they make up some BS or whatever, and, he started talking, and, Brooklyn is just looking at Ned just with the judgy eyes or whatever. And so to do damage control, because at this point, that's literally what it is, Ned's like, hey, listen, so can everyone just clear the room so I can have some father-daughter time with my daughter? And, you get Brooklyn and Ned talking, and, Brooklyn is just calling Ned a hypocrite, be honest about this, not making mistakes about that, and yet you're just doing the exact same thing that you are literally sitting there going at me about. And what does Ned do? Ned decides to make it worse by sitting there, once again, talking down to her, being judgmental to her, talking about ELQ stocks and, what I did, and then he tries to make up some BS that I really did not like. He's like, oh, well, I'm not going to try to clear my conscience by telling her the truth, and, it's not going to happen again, this, that, and the third. I was like, bro, you're not trying to clear your conscience, you're trying to save your ass, okay? Let's just be honest about that. So anyway, it pretty much goes nowhere. And, Monica and Olivia come back in the room because Brooklyn just leaves. She's like, you know what? Listen, next time that you cheat on her with somebody else, you won't have me to blame this time. And, she just walks out. And, of course, Olivia tells, everyone that, and by everyone I mean like 2 people, that Dante's in the house, and, in case you see him, to brush his teeth or whatever, don't be alarmed. Because he got discharged, voluntarily. And then Brooklyn goes to meet Valentine. Well, Brooklyn goes to Charlie's, sees Valentine, and, they start drinking together. And, I'm not gonna lie, I think that it's gonna go in a way, I think they're gonna wind up sleeping together, okay? I'm trying to find a more euphemism way, or a jokey way, but no, I think they're just gonna wind up getting drunk until they sleep with each other. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Because Valentine had a day. And at this point, I really feel like Valentine needs to let this whole Nina thing go. Just let it go. Find someone else. I'm sitting there trying to think of who's actually available. Sasha. Go out with Sasha. I mean, yeah, you can go out with Brooklyn, but Sasha, Britt. Okay, I can't really think of anyone else right now, but he needs to go out with somebody other than Nina, because he's sitting at the bar, because, Nina was sitting there talking to Jax, and then Jax got called in by Jordan, for questioning or whatever. So, seeing how there's an empty chair and Nina's there, he just decides to slide his own ass one right in there. And he starts talking to Nina about trying to help find her daughter or son. And Nina's like, nah, you're not doing this. We're not going down this road. You're not gonna control the narrative. This is how we wound up getting to this whole mess in the first place. So Nina's just like, no, that's not gonna happen. And, they start talking about Jax or whatever, because Nina's like, well, what did she say? She's like, oh, well, Jax is helping me out, and of course that didn't really help. So then, Valentine starts getting all jealous or whatever, going back and forth or whatever, like, oh, well, Jax is this and Jax is that. But the one thing that Jax said was that, you know what, when it really comes down to it, he's going to choose Carly over you. And when Nina was like, Ava said that, Valentine is like, listen, I don't like Ava. So the fact that we agree on anything is a problem. But of course, Nina said something along the lines of, get out of my life and whatever, and dismissed him. And so now he's at the bar, and they're drinking something called a Russian straight, because he wants to get drunk or whatever. I think he just needs to just find another woman personally, but whatever. I'm not a fan of hangovers, by the way. Of course, Nina goes to the police station and sees Jax and Carly hugging, so yeah. By the way, let's talk about Carly and whatever that detective's name is that I cannot pronounce. Mr. Tough Guy, I'm gonna sit there and call him. Because the minute that Carly sat down, he kept saying Corinthos a bunch of times. At this point, it's pretty obvious that he wants to sit there and nail a Corinthos. Doesn't matter which one, he just wants to sit there and bag a Corinthos. So, he starts in with the tough guy routine attitude of, did you push her over? Did you do this? Did you do that? And, you didn't like her. Just being just, I'm not going to say a dick. But just, being, 1970s detective. And, I guess it must have pushed Carly's button, because she said something along the lines of, you know what, I'm glad she's dead. And Diana was like... So, they get through the interview, and Diana's like, well, first of all, I'm going to bill you double, because I have to work a lot harder with you. And then she's like, listen, as long as you don't sit there and show more of your emotions, we might be good. And that's when Jax comes in, and Carly's like, oh, I want to thank you for, you know, talking some sense into me. And I'm like, listen, for dramatic purposes, yes. Telling a lie is better than telling the truth for dramatic purposes. But in all reality, she should have just told the truth. She could afford it. She might have won. She might have lost. But you know what? She would have had nothing to hide, and the story would have been the same, and she wouldn't have had to worry about if something would have came out afterwards. Anyway, Christ. Oh, there was some stuff with, you know what, first of all, I'm just gonna get this out the way. Josh is a damn moron. You know, she's all convinced, like, oh, well, you know, Willow is better with Michael because of the baby, and they're a happy family, and this is the way it needs to be. And I'm like, Sasha, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, she's been on this whole crusade and just pushing Chase along with this whole crusade of they're better off together. We already decided we can't play God now. We can't be, you know, intervening and changing lives and hurting them even more. And I'm like, Sasha, shut the hell up. Just shut up. So anyway, she's not there talking with Willow, which is being far more forgiving than Michael, by the way. And, you know, they're talking and stuff like that. And Sasha's just feeling guilty, and, you know, Willow brings up the past about, you know, them just drinking wine together and just all hanging out. And, yeah, it really goes nowhere because Sasha just feels guilty and just leaves, and she's just like, we should never do this again. Which those two probably shouldn't. I don't know. I just... And then you got Michael and Chase. I don't know. It's not that I want to see them friends again. It's just this whole Sasha that they're trying to play God, and now she's like, no, we already did it. And just this self-punishment. I'm just kind of over it. And, you know, you got Chase and Michael in the gym or whatever. And, you know, at first, I thought they were going to go a couple of rounds or whatever, which would have been a bad idea. Yeah, it would have been a bad idea. But then, you know, Chase decides to hold the bag, or well, not the bag, or whatever, the little paddle things. And, you know, Michael's just hitting something or whatever, and they're talking. And then Michael's he's just tight. He's not just mad at, you know, Sasha, but he's mad at Chase for what he did to Willow. So, you know, he's like hitting the bat, you know, he's hitting like the paddles or whatever. And then he swung and hit Chase in the face. And Chase was like, please tell me you did that by accident. And Michael's like, yeah, I did. No, you didn't. Why are you lying to that man for? You know damn well you didn't. But, you know, you know, I honestly tell you the truth, this whole scene, I'm just like, that's sad. You know the sad thing? I feel more, as far as friendships ending, I feel more bad for Michael and Chase, because I felt like they went really well together. You know, just as far as being friends. So I feel like that part just sucks. It sucks. Especially when they left or whatever. I had that whole Tony Stark, Captain America vibe. But, yeah, just the way they left, you know. Like, because Michael was like, you know, I wish things could be different, but it's not. And you could just sit there and look at the hurt on, you know, Chase's face, because, you know, he was like, I don't get along with my brother that well, but I get along with you great. And Michael was like, I'm not really, you know, I wasn't looking for a best friend after Morgan died, but, you know, I found one. And I'm like, ooh, damn, that just kind of hurt. That just kind of hurt a little bit, not gonna lie. But anyway, they walked off, and then, you know, Willow decided to go to the gym, which I'm pretty sure, is that gym even open? Because I didn't see anyone else there. It was the middle of the nighttime. Like, they're not Planet Fitness. I don't think they're open 24/7, so, but anyway, Sasha was there, and, you know, just talking to Chase or whatever, and, you know, just kind of commiserating on a really bad day. Yeah, that's it. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, did I miss anything? But no, I didn't. Yeah, so that's it. It's, you know, it's so crazy. I'm gonna ramble for like about a good 30 seconds. And the review's over. But it's always really interesting. Because I can go Monday through Friday, whatever. Or like Tuesday through Friday, and I'm like, really, you know, I feel confident in my reviews. As far as when I do it, and I feel like, you know, like, I feel confident in my reviews when I do it. But then it's like, I go to Friday, and that's the last one. And then Saturday and Sunday come up. And then when Monday comes back, I'm like, sometimes I feel like, oh man, I haven't did this in a minute. I'm a little rusty in like 2 days, but sometimes it's like, in the beginning when I start doing it, it's like, oh shit, what am I actually supposed to say? Like, how do I start this? And a lot of times I actually kind of forget my closing line that I usually do. It's always really weird to me. But I don't feel like that today. So yeah, anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Be safe. This week is going to get interesting. I feel like it's going to get interesting, and I feel like it's going to be an intervention because the whole previews with Sam asking Sunny for help, and I don't know what's going to take to get through her. Through Alexis. I mean, I try to use real-world applications as far as, like, listen, they're not going to accept help until they want to, you know? And unfortunately, sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom. Sometimes hitting rock bottom. Even then, you're not even too sure if they're going to want to accept the help. So, anyway, again, with that being said, let me know what you think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What's your thoughts on the whole friendship ending thing? And if you don't understand the whole Captain America, Tony Stark thing, don't worry about it. Be safe. I'll catch you in the next review.